Good morning, dear students. Today I am going to explain you the fourth poem of your Beehive textbook, A Legend of the Northland. Introduction. A Legend of the Northland is a ballet. A ballet is a poem narrating a story in short stanzas. So, what is ballet? A poem which tells you a story in short stanzas. Means this poem is divided into short stanzas. So ballet is such kind of poem which tells a story in short stanzas, and in the poem all the stanzas comprise 4 lines. So each stanza has got 4 lines. In total there are 16 stanzas in this particular poem. Which poem? A Legend of the Northland. So this poem has got 16 stanzas in all, and these stanzas will tell us a story. So ballad are a part of folk culture or popular culture. Okay, it is a part of folk culture or a popular culture and are passed on orally from one generation to the next generation. So folk culture is a story of any area and is known as ballet. Folk culture comprises of traditional stories which are passed on from one generation to next generation. This story is of Northland area. So in this poem you are going to learn a story of Northland area. Then where is this Northland? The area which is near the North Pole. This exact place is not specified, but Northland means the area in the northernmost part of the earth, that is near the North Pole. Legend means a historical story, one which is very old and has been passed on from generation to generation. So let's begin the poem. Away, away in the Northland, where the hours of the day are few and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. So away, away in the Northland. So this story, it takes place in the area of Northland, in the region of Northland, which is around the North Pole, where the duration of the day is very less because its position is such that the sun's rays reach for a very less time. As you all know, the duration of the day and night depends upon the Earth's rotation, right? And Earth's axis is tilted by 23.5 degrees, 23.5 degrees. That's why there are some parts of the Earth near the polar region which receives the light of the sun for a very short time, right? In winter, when this area is experiencing winter season, the duration of night is very long and the daytime hours are very less. So in line 4, they refers to the people who live in this region. The poet says that the duration of the night time is so long that the people cannot sleep them through. So how much time a person will be able to sleep, as the nights are so long that why they are not able to sleep for the complete night, right? So if they go to bed, take a few hours of sleep and then they wake up, it is still night time. He wants to emphasize on the fact that the duration of the night is very long. That's why the people, those who are residing in this area, they are unable to sleep for the whole night. Means they can sleep for some time, but after some time, no one will be able to sleep, right? So here there is a little bit description of how these areas receive the light of the sun for a very short time. If you see this, you will be able to understand. At the December solstice, Earth is positioned in its orbit so that the sun stays below the North Pole horizon, as seen from 23.5 degrees south of the equator, at the imaginary line encircling the globe known as the Tropic of Capricorn. The sun shines directly overhead at noon. This is as far south as the sun ever gets. All locations south of the equator have a day lengths greater than the 12 hours at the December solstice. Meanwhile, all locations north of the equator have day less than 12 hours. Okay, day less than 12 hours means days are shorter in the northern region during the winters. Okay, so this diagram you can see it and you will be able to understand. Now next stanza, where they harness the swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows and the children look like bear's cubs in their funny furry clothes. Okay, the Northland region experiences severe cold conditions. It is a snowy area, right? The reindeer is an animal which is found in this polar region. You can see this is the reindeer which is tied to the sledge. You may have seen the sledge of our Santa Claus, right? Animal which is found in this polar region. So people tie the reindeers to sledges and then the reindeers pull the sledges. So this type of vehicle is called as the sledge, and these reindeers, they are tied to the sledge so it can pull this sledge. He adds that the children look like young ones of a bear because they wear funny looking clothes made of fur, which is like the furry skin of bear. So the children, they look like bear's cubs. Cubs means babies of bears. Okay, they look like bear's cubs in their funny furry clothes. Okay, now next stanza. They tell them a curious story. I don't believe it's true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. Once a good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it, preaching just as he did, you know. In line 1 here, they refers to the parents or elders and them refers to the children or the younger generation. So the elders of the Northland region, they tell a strange and interesting story to the younger generation. The poet says that he doesn't think that the story is true, but if he tells the story to the reader, maybe the reader could learn a lesson from it. The story gives an important message. The story is about Saint Peter. When Saint Peter used to live in the world and went around giving religious lectures to the people, just like all saints do, then an incident happened. This Saint Peter, once he was moving around, okay, from place to place, and he was delivering his preaching, right? He was preaching the people, giving good lessons, moral stories he was telling the people wherever he was going. So while he was moving and telling the religious moral stories to the people, this incident happened. So what was the incident that happened with Saint Peter? The incident was he came to door of a cottage in traveling round the earth, where a little woman was making cakes and baking them on hearth, and faint with fasting, for the day was almost done. He asked her from her store of cakes to give him a single one. When Saint Peter was moving around the world giving religious lectures to the people, he reached the door of a cottage where a small woman was making cakes. She was baking the cakes in the fireplace. So HEARTH, hearth means the fireplace. As Saint Peter had not eaten anything for the entire day, he was very hungry and was feeling weak. So he went to this woman who was baking cakes and he asked for one cake out of the many cakes that she had baked. Right, there were so many cakes in her store. That's why he asked her to give him one cake from so many cakes. Okay, so she made a very little cake. So when he asked her for the cake, she started making a very little cake. But as it baking lay, she looked at it and thought it seemed too large to give away. Therefore she needed another and still a smaller one. But it looked, when she turned it over, as large as the first had done. The woman was very selfish. She did not give cake from her store. Instead, she started making a very small cake for Saint Peter. She did not want to share her things, but when she put the cake for baking, she looked at it and she thought that this cake was too big to be given to someone. The little miser woman thought that the cake was too big to be given away, so she started making another smaller cake. She needed the dough. Okay, when she looked at the cake, she began felt that it was as big as the previous one. Again, she was not ready to give the smaller cake to Saint Peter. Then she took a tiny scrap of dough and rolled it flat and baked it thin as wafer, just like a wafer. Can you imagine? She prepared a cake of the size of a wafer, but she couldn't part with that. But that also she was not ready to give it to Saint Peter, for she said, "My cakes that seem too small when I eat of them myself are yet too large to give away." So she put them on the shelf. The third time she took a very small amount of dough and rolled it. The poet says that she rolled and rolled to lay emphasis on the fact that she rolled the dough and made it very thin like a wafer and baked it. But she was so greedy that she couldn't give that thin piece of bread to the saint. The woman reasoned. She gave the reason for not doing so, that when she ate the cakes, she felt that they were very small, but if she had to give them to someone, she felt that they were too big to be given. She put all the cakes on the shelf of her kitchen and she did not give any cake to Saint Peter. Okay, so then good Saint Peter grew angry, for he was angry and faint, and surely such a woman was enough to provoke a saint. And he said, "You are far too selfish to dwell in a human form, to have both food and shelter and fire to keep you warm." So Saint Peter became very angry. He was very hungry. He was feeling very weak, and the selfish woman was not ready to give him even a small cake. This behavior of the greedy woman angered the saint. So Saint Peter cursed the woman and said that she was very selfish. She did not deserve to live like a human being. He added that God had given her food, shelter, fire to keep warm, but she had become selfish for all the resources she had. She had so many things. God had blessed her with all the resources needed for a human to live a comfortable life, but still she was not thankful and she was not ready to spare even a small cake. Actually, she had got so many cakes, she had a store of cakes, but still she is unable to share. Then what is the use of having so many things for herself, right? If she is unable to share it with the needy ones. So she did not want to share them with anybody. So now you shall build as the bird do, and shall get your scanty food by boring all day in the hard dry wood. Then up she went through the chimney, never speaking a word, and out of the top flew a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. Saint Peter cursed the woman that hence she would become a bird, because she did not deserve the human form. She did not deserve to be a human being, because she is unable to understand the feelings of others. She cannot sympathize with other people. She is unable to understand the feelings and pains and miseries for another person. So she was unable. She did not deserve to be a human, so she shall become a bird. And just like birds build their houses by boring into the wood, by digging deep into the wood, and collect very little food by working hard the entire day, because she labored very hard to bake a small cake, smaller one, okay, for the whole day. She would also work hard in the dry wood all day and get little food and make a small place for herself to live. As soon as Saint Peter cursed the woman, she did not get a chance to speak for herself, because that very moment she flew up to the roof through the chimney and flew out in the form of a bird. Saint Peter's curse had converted the woman into a bird. And what was the bird? It was a woodpecker. She had a scarlet cap on her head and that was left the same, but all the rest of her clothes were burned black as a coal in the flame. And every country schoolboy had seen her in the wood where she lives in the trees till this very day, boring and boring for food. When the woman turned into a bird, at that time she was wearing a red colored cap on her head. The woman, when she was making the cakes, right, that time she was wearing a red colored cap on her head. So this cap was there on the bird's head also. That's why the color of the bird's head remained red. But the woman's remaining clothes had burned and turned black in the color, just like the coal, because she had come out from the chimney. So people who live in the countryside, in the village area, even the small children who go to school, seen this kind of bird in the woods. They have also seen such type of bird in the wood. They see that she stays there all day and keeps on digging the wood with her beak to collect her food. Whenever any child sees this kind of bird, then his elders tell him this story. They say that the bird used to be a woman earlier. She was very greedy, and so she was cursed by Saint Peter and turned into a bird. They get a teaching that they should not be greedy. So such type of folk stories, they give a moral lesson and they are very popular in folk culture. Meaning of difficult words are explained here. Sledges, a vehicle on runners for conveying loads or passengers over snow or ice, often pulled by drought animals. Drought means there are dry, droughts means arid lands, sand covered land, and there are droughts when the region is icy or snow covered. So both are the droughts. To harness, but these sledges are used in the snow or ice. To harness, to tie the reindeers with a rope to a sledge so that it can be used for transportation. To harness means to tie the reindeers with a rope to a sledge. Swift, something which runs very fast. Curious means strange. Saint Peter, an apostle of Christ, a disciple or follower of Jesus Christ. Apostle means disciple or follower of Jesus Christ, one who follows the teaching of Christ. Preaching, to give a religious talk. Hearth, here fireplace where you do cooking. Faint, to be weak and famished. Needed, to make dough from flour. Scrap, small amount. Provoke, cause to get angry. If someone provokes someone, means he is making that person angry. Dwell means to live. Scanty, very little. Boring means make a hole in something with a tool or by digging. That is boring. The bird was boring all day long now. Scarlet, brilliant red color. And country, belonging to the countryside, that is rural area. Okay. So some literary devices in the poem. Rhyme scheme ABCB means first line has a different rhyme, a different ending word, right? It does not rhyme with any other word of the other three lines in the stanza. Then second line rhymes with the fourth line. Third line does not rhyme with any other line. So it means that only second and fourth line rhymes with each other. First and third do not rhyme. Alliteration is the repetition of a consonant sound in two or more close words. In stanza 1, two words that, they. TH, the sound is repeated. Then look like I sound is repeating in funny, furry. Here F sound is repeating. Okay. Then stanza 3, they, them. Again the sound is repeating. Yet, you, ya sound is repeating. Learn, lesson, la sound is repeating. Tell, ta sound is repeating. Women, was, wa sound is repeating. Them, the, her, th sound is, no, only them and the you can take. Her, th is there but it is at the end. Faint, fasting, f sound is repeating. Still, smaller, s sound is repeating. Took, tiny, t. Seem, small, s. Build, birds, b sound is repeating. Boring, b sound is repeating. So here it is repetition also, because boring, words, complete word is repeating. Then another figure of speech, repetition. Any word or sentence is repeated to lay emphasis on it. Away word is repeated, rolled word is repeated, boring word is repeated. So in all the instances, repetition is there. Enjambment means running lines of poetry from one to the next without using any kind of punctuation to indicate a stop. Means suppose one line is completed but there is no punctuation mark, no comma, no full stop, nothing. And the meaning of the first line, it's continued in the second line also, right? So the sentence, it's continued in the second line also, that is enjambment. So line 3 and 4 are the one line, so there is enjambment. Line 1 and 2, line 3 and 4 are enjambment in stanza 2. In stanza 3, line 3 and 4 means 3 and 4 makes a single sentence. In stanza 4, line 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Stanza 10, line 1, 2 and 3. These 3 lines are a complete one sentence. Okay, so stanza 11, line 1 and 2. Then simile is comparison using as or like. Okay, so the children look like bear's cub. Here simile is used. Something looks like something else. One thing is compared to the another thing using the word like, as or like. So here it is simile. Baked it thin as a wafer. As word is used. She baked the cake as wafer. So cake is compared to a wafer. Then stanza 5. Clothes were burned black as coal. As black as a coal. So burnt cloth are compared with coal. So the color of the burnt clothes is compared to that of coal. Okay. In the next class, I will explain you the question and answers. Okay. So thank you very much, all of you. कसं झालं आबा?